So farming today topic is going to be about on farming and its scope, as well as the objective and the overall classification. So this is just an essay question that has been asked in UPSC 2015 in agriculture paper 1 optional subject. So I just need you to concentrate more on this topic. So we'll just go into the topic proper. So before going into the topic, you just need to know some basic terminologies associated with farming. So you know what is the meaning of farm, but how do you define it? So it is basically, it's like an organized economic unit in which crops and animal production is carried out with the purpose of producing economic net returns, right? So it is an organized unit in which crops and animal production is carried out for economic purpose. So this system of raising money with help of crops and animal is called as farming system. So since it associates both the crops as well as animals, it is otherwise called as mixed farming. And also and also next thing is farm area. So what places you call as a farm and what places you call as a farm area. So farm area is nothing but all the places that is associated around the farm, that is productive land, that is the cropped area, and also the field or pastures, other plantations, fish ponds around the farm area, and also the forest, and plus the indirectly productive land, farm buildings, ditches, roads, etc. So everything that is around the farm area, it is called as around the farm is called as farm area. It also includes fallow land, that is the land which is lying barren, and also some unproductive lands. It even includes rocks and deserts within its farm boundaries. So the next thing is the specific objectives. So the specific objectives of the farming are is to identify existing farming system in specific areas and access their relative viability. That is, you have to identify what type of farming is being done in what type of area, and you have to get access and what can you done with the farming there. And also to formulate farming system, that is which place requires what type of farming. You can also formulate these kinds of farming system by involving various models as well as enterprises for different farming situations. So this is also one of the main objective. And also to ensure optional utilization and conservation of available resources and effective recycling of farm residues within the system. So basically it's like recycling of the farm residues and to utilize all the things that has been available within farming. And the fourth point mainly talks about the sustainable production system without damaging any resources or environment. And finally, it counts to all the profitability of the farmhouse hold by the complementing companies or enterprises or farmers. So these are the objectives. It may sound actually a little boring, but these are the questions that has been asked in the UPSC in mains, as well as you could write these things in your essay also. So focus on the keywords. This could make a big difference in your answer writing. So next thing is scope of farming system. So you know that farming enterprises doesn't include only the cropping alone. So it includes livestock, poultry, fishes, sericulture. Sericulture is nothing but rearing of silkworms. So a combination of one or more enterprises with cropping, when it is carefully chosen and planned, it gives greater dividends than a single enterprises. That is the revenue from this system. That is that a scope of farming will give you a lot of dividends than a single enterprises, especially for small and marginal farmers. So you have to choose carefully what type of farming system require what type of enterprises, whether cropping alone is enough for that area, or you could cultivate fishes, or you could rear silkworms. It's all depends upon the decision of the farmers. And finally, farm as a unit to be considered and planned for effective integration of the enterprises to be combined with crop production activity. So these are like general points. The basic thing you need to know is scope of farming system doesn't restrict it to only the cropping alone. It is associated with various other things like livestock, poultry, fishes, silkworm, apiculture, everything. So you need to plan out everything before just introducing your crops. So the next thing is classification of farming system. So this is one of the major topic that has been tested by UPSC. Like they've been asking what is farming and what is the scope and what is the classification of the farming system. So they've been asking like in under a cluster or they've been testing out individually as well. So in this lecture you'll just see only the umbrella classification, that is how farming has been classified based upon different criterias. So the first thing is according to the size of the farm, it has been classified as collective farming, as well as cultivation farming. So collective farming is nothing but it's like a small piece of land where all the activities like growing plants, raising livestock, as well as raising bees, raising silkworms is being carried out. That is collection of various activities. Whereas in cultivation farming, only one type of activity, that is cultivating a single type of crop, is being practiced. So there are two types. One is small scale farming and next thing is large scale farming. So this is one category, and the next thing is it is classified based upon the proportion of the land, labor and capital investment. So this thing is intensive cultivation and extensive cultivation. So in intensive cultivation, small piece of land, small amount of people, and the production is very intense. Whereas in extensive cultivation, it involves large acres of land, large man forces, large machine forces. Everything is extensive in this type of cultivation. So the next classification is based upon the value of the products or also on the income on the basis of comparative advantages. So in specialized farming, a particular type of crop is being farmed, and then diversified one or more two crops is also being practiced and cultivated. In mixed farming and as well as livestock rearing is being done. So the next thing is ranching. So ranching is nothing but it is like a modern method where huge pastures or grassland is being grown, and various cattle are being allowed here to raised under this ranching system, and apiculture and sericulture is being practiced. So cropping is not done here, only livestock rearing is done, and maybe cropping may be done in the future also. So this is called as ranching. So in dry farming, so this is called as dry farming. Here irrigation system is totally absent, that is there is no use of water here, so this is called as dry farming. And also according to the water supply, they are being classified into two types of farming, that is rained farming and irrigated farming. So rain farming depends upon the rain, and irrigated farming mainly depends upon the irrigation channels. And also depending upon the types of the rotation, they have been classified into lay system, field system and perennial crop system. So we'll discuss one by one later in our next lecture, so just need to know the classification alone right now. So the next thing is intensity of the rotation. So based upon the intensity of the rotation, it is classified as shifting cultivation. That is land is being cultivated once and then shifted to another. Lay or fallow farming is it is done in the same land. That is the land is allowed to be fallow for some time. That is land is allowed to be barren for 6 months, and then it is cultivated in the next 6 months. And permanent cultivation is same type of crop is being grown in the land continuously. The next thing is multiple cropping. Multiple cropping, it's like producing one crop for 3 months, another crop for 3 months, and it's been the cropping continues with various other varieties being growing on the same land. So this is classification based upon intensity of rotation. And finally, on the degree of the commercialization, it is classified as commercialized, that is for exports and also for supplying government and everything, mainly done for money. Whereas when it is done for your livelihood, it is called as subsistence farming. That is, plants have been grown only for the purpose of filling the stomachs of the family members. So this is called as subsistence farming. And also based upon the degree of nomad means it's like wandering from one place to another. So it may be classified as total nomadic, semi nomadic, partial nomadic. So this is called transhumant. The fourth thing is transhumant. So transhumant is nothing but it is a movement of people along with a group of cattle from one place to another place. So this is called as transhumant. It is one of the most important degree classification of farming. Now the fifth one is stationary animal husbandry. So stationary animal husbandry, it's like you setting up a base camp at one place along with your animals, and the cropping is being done, and also rearing of animal products is also being practiced. So finally, based upon the implements that been used for cultivation. So first thing is spade farming, hoe farming, and also tractor farming. So these are like very simple. Spade is an instrument, hoe is an instrument, tractor is a huge one for mainly use it for